A lot of people assume that blurry vision is just part of getting older, something you accept and move on from. You wake up with dry, scratchy eyes, you squint at the menu across the restaurant. Headlights at night leave you gripping the steering wheel a little tighter than you used to. But here is the truth that most doctors do not take the time to explain. It is not always just age. The American Optometric Association is clear. Once you pass 60, your eyes become significantly more fragile. Conditions like dry eyes, cataracts, macular degeneration, and sudden blurry vision become far more common. And the National Eye Institute has warned that vision loss is rising faster than at any other point in recorded history. What makes this especially dangerous is that the real damage often happens while you sleep. Your retina, the light-sensitive tissue lining the back of your eye, does not always get the oxygen and nutrients it needs at night. Photoreceptor cells begin breaking down, slowly, silently. Most people do not notice until the damage is already done. Here is what the standard guidelines are not fully accounting for. A study published in JAMA Ophthalmology in 2023 confirmed that age-related retinal damage often begins with silent changes deep inside the eye. Oxidative stress and chronic low-grade inflammation, most active precisely when your eyes should be doing their deepest repair work. But here is the part I want you to hear. Certain everyday fruits contain powerful compounds that your eyes are literally craving during sleep. In the next 14 minutes, I am going to show you exactly which 7 fruits support overnight eye repair, why most people eat them in a way that cancels out the benefit, and the one preparation mistake that eliminates up to 70% of the protective effect before it ever reaches your eyes. I have spent years working with older adults serious about protecting their vision using evidence-informed approaches. And this information could genuinely change what happens inside your eyes tonight. Before we get into it, drop a comment right now with just your age, nothing else. Just the number. I want to see who is watching this because the specific fruits that matter most apply differently depending on whether you are 62, 75, or 82. And if you regularly wake up with blurry vision that takes more than 15 minutes to clear, add the word foggy to your comment. That is a specific pattern I need to see, and you will understand exactly why in about 4 minutes. Here is what is happening in homes across the country right now. A 68-year-old woman has been noticing her vision getting worse. For 2 years, she mentions it at her annual checkup. Her doctor checks the prescription, recommends stronger glasses, and tells her that age-related changes are normal. She walks out with updated lenses and the assumption that nothing more can be done. What nobody discussed with her retina is operating in a state of chronic nutritional deficiency during the hours it needs support most. The photoreceptor cells responsible for fine detail and night vision are being degraded not because of a disease she cannot control, but because her body is not receiving the specific compounds needed to run the overnight repair cycle. A different conversation, a different outcome. That scenario plays out thousands of times every single day, and it is entirely preventable. Research on dietary compounds and retinal health should have changed how we talk to patients about vision years ago. Most people have certainly never heard any of it, and that gap between what the evidence shows and what happens in a routine eye exam is costing people their visual independence. Now, if you value understanding the why behind the numbers, not just being told what to do, then what I am about to explain is going to give you a completely different framework. Your eye at 70 is not simply an older version of your eye at 40. 3 fundamental changes determine what nutrients it needs and when. First, the macular pigment thins. The macula, responsible for reading, recognizing faces, and fine detail, is protected by a pigment layer made from lutein and zeaxanthin. Think of it like the tinting on a car window slowly peeling away. What was once a shield becomes a gap, and underlying tissue is exposed to exactly the kind of oxidative damage it was designed to block. Second, retinal microcirculation slows. The blood vessels supplying your retina are extraordinarily small, some thinner than a single red blood cell. Reduced circulation means oxygen and nutrients arrive more slowly, and waste is cleared less efficiently. Poor overnight circulation is a direct cause of that frustrating morning blurriness that takes an hour to clear. Third, the overnight photoreceptor repair rate declines. In younger eyes, this regeneration process runs efficiently. In aging eyes, it becomes rate limited. The raw materials must be present in sufficient concentration at the right time. If they are not, repair stalls, damage accumulates faster than it is cleared. These are not small differences. These are fundamental changes, and yet the conversation most people have with their eye doctor does not include a word about any of them. Number 7 is kiwi. You probably walk past it every week. But kiwi contains meaningful concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin, the exact carotenoids that form the macular pigment layer we just discussed. Think of them as internal filters sitting inside your retinal layers, absorbing harmful blue light while your eyes run their overnight repair process. Kiwi also contains a small amount of serotonin, which supports deeper and more restorative sleep. And deep sleep is when photoreceptor repair is most active. The two benefits work together. A study published in the Asia Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults who consumed 2 kiwis daily before bed experienced improvements in sleep onset, sleep duration, and overall sleep quality, directly supporting the overnight window your eyes depend on. Margaret, 71, had been struggling with morning blurriness for 3 years. She added 2 golden kiwis to her evening routine. Within 5 weeks, she reported noticeably clearer mornings, something she was not expecting from a piece of fruit. Be honest, when did you last eat a kiwi? Comment the number of weeks. That gap reflects what your retina has not been receiving. The fix: choose golden kiwis over green, more lutein, less acid at night. Eat 2 about an hour before bed. Do not peel all the way to the edge. The thin flesh directly beneath the skin contains concentrated caffeic acid. Scoop with a spoon and leave that inner layer intact. Now, number 6 targets a specific problem that explains why your vision might still be blurry an hour after waking up. Number 6 is watermelon. As we age, blood flow to the retina gradually slows. That reduced circulation is a major contributor to morning blurriness that sometimes takes hours to clear. Watermelon is one of the richest dietary sources of lycopene, a powerful carotenoid antioxidant. Research has shown that low plasma levels of lycopene are associated with higher risk of age-related macular degeneration. In experimental studies, lycopene significantly delayed the onset of oxidative lens damage by improving antioxidant enzyme activity inside the eye. Additionally, citrulline, found in the white rind section, supports healthy blood vessel function, which directly translates to better oxygen delivery to the retina during sleep. Thomas, 74, had never connected his morning blurriness to overnight retinal circulation. He started eating 1 to 2 cups of watermelon before bed most evenings. After 4 weeks, he described the morning blur as noticeably less severe. Be honest, do you eat watermelon anytime other than summer? If not, comment seasonal, you are leaving a year-round benefit untouched. The fix: 1 to 2 cups of chilled seedless watermelon, 30 minutes before bed. Skip added salt. Sodium can raise intraocular pressure. Blend the white rind section into a smoothie for the citrulline. Number 5 is one most Western households have genuinely never purchased, and the clinical evidence behind it is among the most specific on this list. Number 5 is black currants. The specific problem they addressed: reduced blood flow to the optic nerve and progressive difficulty adjusting from bright to dim environments. That reduced circulation blurs vision, creates halos around headlights, and causes eye strain in low light. A stronger glasses prescription cannot fix any of that. Black currants contain extraordinary concentrations of anthocyanins, the deep purple pigments that give them their color. Inside the eye, anthocyanins calm retinal inflammation, support blood vessel dilation, and help restore rhodopsin, the visual pigment responsible for your eye's ability to shift between light and dark environments. The clinical research is solid. A randomized, double-masked, placebo-controlled trial published in Ophthalmologica in 2012 followed 38 patients with open-angle glaucoma for 24 months. The group receiving 50 milligrams of blackcurrant anthocyanins daily showed a statistically significant reduction in visual field deterioration and measurably improved blood flow to the optic nerve head compared to placebo. A separate pilot study found that blackcurrant anthocyanins also normalized endothelin-1 levels, a marker of blood vessel constriction, pointing to genuine neuroprotective potential. Sandra, 67, had been told her night driving tests were normal, yet halos around headlights had become stressful. After 3 months of consistent blackcurrant supplementation, she described the adjustment between light and dark environments as markedly smoother. The fix: fresh blackcurrants are difficult to find. Look for a standardized extract at 50 milligrams daily, taken in the evening, paired with a few walnuts or a slice of orange for better absorption. Number 4 is something you almost certainly already eat, but likely in a way that cancels most of the eye benefit. Number 4 is blueberries, and here is the part that surprises almost everyone. The key active compound is pterostilbene, chemically related to resveratrol, but significantly more bioavailable. Research published in scientific reports demonstrated that pterostilbene can cross the blood-retinal barrier and act directly on oxidative damage in light-sensitive cells, something most dietary antioxidants never accomplish because they never reach retinal tissue. A large prospective study of 36,653 women published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher anthocyanin intake from berries was associated with measurably lower rates of age-related cataract and macular degeneration progression over years of follow-up. That is a large population and a meaningful observation window, But here is what cancels the benefit: combining blueberries with dairy. The proteins in milk physically bind to anthocyanins in the gut and block their absorption. If you are eating blueberries with yogurt or in a milk-based smoothie, your eyes are receiving a fraction of what the research measured. Richard, 69, had been eating blueberries with Greek yogurt every morning for 2 years. When he switched to eating wild blueberries alone, lightly frozen and thawed to break down cell walls and increase bioavailability, he reported a noticeable difference in eye comfort within 3 weeks. The fix: a third of a cup of wild blueberries, the small, dark variety from the frozen section, not the large cultivated type, 45 minutes before bed. Lightly freeze and thaw before eating. No dairy within 90 minutes. Wild varieties carry nearly double the active compound concentration of standard supermarket blueberries. Number 3 addresses a problem most people have never heard named, and it explains why some people sleep a full 8 hours and still wake up with fatigued, heavy eyes. Number 3 is red dragon fruit. You want the deep red flesh. The white varieties do not contain what we are after. The specific problem it addresses is retinal hypoxia, when retinal tissue does not receive adequate oxygen during sleep. When that happens, you can sleep a full 8 hours and still wake up with fatigued, heavy eyes, peripheral vision starts to blur, colors look flatter than they used to. Red dragon fruit is rich in betalains, antioxidants that research shows support nitric oxide production in blood vessel walls. Nitric oxide is the body's vascular relaxation signal. When the tiny capillaries supplying your retina receive that signal, they widen, allowing more oxygen and nutrients to reach retinal tissue during deep sleep. A study published in Frontiers in Aging Biology in 2022 found that participants consuming red dragon fruit extract over 6 weeks showed meaningful improvements in ocular circulation and contrast sensitivity. The ability to distinguish between similar shades and lighting levels. In practical terms, they could see more clearly in low light. Caroline, 73, woke up with heavy, tired eyes every morning, regardless of how much sleep she got. Her ophthalmologist found nothing structurally wrong. After 6 weeks of red dragon fruit before bed, she described the morning heaviness as significantly reduced for the first time in years. The fix: half a red flesh dragon fruit about an hour before bed. Do not swallow the black seeds whole. Chew them. Those seeds contain omega-3 fatty acids and magnesium, both with documented roles in retinal nerve health. Swallowed whole, you lose almost all of that benefit. Number 2 has 2,000 years of traditional use, and clinical evidence has started to catch up in a very specific way. Number 2 is goji berries. The problem they target is macular thinning, the gradual degradation of the macula's protective pigment, which is the foundational mechanism behind age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of irreversible central vision loss in older adults worldwide. Goji berries are among the highest natural dietary sources of zeaxanthin on the planet. While lutein predominantly protects the outer retina, zeaxanthin concentrates specifically in the macula, your center of vision. That targeted localization matters for macular protection. A randomized pilot trial published in Nutrients in 2021, conducted by researchers at the University of California, Davis, followed 27 participants aged 45 to 65 who consumed 28 grams of dried goji berries 5 days per week for 90 days. After 90 days, macular pigment optical density, a direct biomarker of macular protection, was significantly increased in the goji berry group at both retinal measurement points. Notably, no meaningful changes were observed in the comparison group receiving isolated lutein and zeaxanthin supplements. Whole food goji berries outperformed isolated supplements at building macular protection. James, 77, had been told his macular pigment density was below normal for his age. After adding soaked, dried goji berries to his evening routine 5 nights per week, his follow-up exam 6 months later showed measurable improvement in macular pigment readings. His eye doctor asked what he had changed. The fix: soak 2 tablespoons of dried goji berries in warm water for 10 minutes before eating. Eat them 30 minutes before bed. Pair them with a small square of high-quality dark chocolate, at least 85% cacao. Research shows cocoa flavonoids enhance zeaxanthin absorption, creating a synergy your macula can actually use. And now, number 1, not exotic, not expensive. You may have one sitting on your counter right now, but when you eat it correctly, it goes after the single most overlooked cause of cloudy lenses and blurry morning vision. Number 1 is papaya. Here is the specific enemy papaya goes after: glycation. That is the process by which excess blood glucose binds to proteins in your eye tissue, forming advanced glycation end products, compounds that progressively cloud your lens and degrade your retinal structure. Glycation is one of the most underappreciated contributors to age-related vision deterioration, and it is happening silently in most people over 60. Think of it like this: fresh egg whites are clear and flexible, apply heat and they become white and rigid. Glycation does something something structurally similar to the proteins in your lens. It cross-links them, causes them to aggregate, and progressively clouds what should be a transparent structure. Your natural defenses against this process weaken with age. Most people have no idea it is happening until they are told their lens is beginning to cloud. Papaya contains papain, a naturally occurring enzyme with documented anti-inflammatory and protein-modifying properties. It also delivers vitamins A, C, and E alongside beta-carotene and folate, nutrients that research consistently links to tear film stability, retinal protection, and reduced oxidative stress inside the eye. The Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2, conducted by the National Eye Institute with 4,203 enrolled participants, established that dietary antioxidant nutrients, particularly vitamins C and E alongside carotenoids, reduce the risk of progression to advanced AMD by approximately 25%. Participants in the lowest quintile of lutein and zeaxanthin intake who received these nutrients showed a 32% reduction in progression to cataract surgery. Papaya delivers the full antioxidant compound profile in a single whole food source. Eleanor, 70, had been told her lens was beginning to show early changes consistent with cataract formation. Instead of waiting passively, she added 1 cup of room temperature papaya to her evening routine each night. At her follow-up appointment, her eye doctor found no meaningful progression. Eleanor did not claim it was a cure. She simply stopped waiting for something to get worse. The fix: 1 cup of ripe papaya cubes about an hour before bed. Take it out of the refrigerator 30 to 60 minutes before eating. Cold suppresses papain enzyme activity. Do not pair it with dairy. Squeeze fresh lime juice over it before eating. The vitamin C in lime measurably boosts your body's absorption of vitamin A, and it genuinely tastes better. If you have been watching this and realizing you have been eating the wrong blueberry variety, pairing fruit with dairy, or taking papaya straight from the cold refrigerator, I want you to hear something important. It is not your fault. Nobody told you. The conversation about dietary timing, nutrient interactions, and retinal biochemistry simply does not happen in a standard eye exam. That is not a criticism of your doctor. It is a reflection of a system built to respond to disease rather than prevent it. Here is what the research is actually telling us. Your retina is not failing on a fixed timeline written into your genetics. It is a living tissue with active repair cycles that depend on specific raw materials arriving at specific times. When those materials are present, repair happens. When they are absent or blocked by the wrong food combinations or timing, it stalls. That is biology, not destiny. Here's what you now understand that most people have not considered. Bioavailability determines whether you benefit from a nutrient, not just whether you consumed it. Timing relative to your sleep cycle determines whether compounds are present during the repair window or already metabolized before it opens. Food combinations can either amplify or almost completely cancel the protective effect. You are no longer a passive observer of your own visual decline. You are an informed person who can make decisions tonight that directly support what your eyes are trying to do while you sleep. Let me give you specific steps you can take starting tonight. First, choose 1 fruit from this list and eat it tonight, 60 to 90 minutes before bed. That is when your eyes enter the primary repair phase. Too early and nutrients are metabolized before your eyes need them. Too late and active digestion disrupts deep sleep. Second, check what you are pairing with your fruit. If you are combining any of these fruits with dairy within 90 minutes, stop immediately. That single change increases what your eyes actually receive. Third, switch to wild blueberries from the frozen section. Same price, nearly double the active compound concentration. Fourth, add a small amount of healthy fat alongside your evening fruit. A few walnuts, a teaspoon of flaxseed oil, or a few slices of avocado. Most key eye nutrients are fat soluble. Research suggests fat pairing can boost delivery to ocular tissue by more than 50%. Fifth, take your papaya out of the refrigerator 30 to 60 minutes before eating. Room temperature restores full papain enzyme activity that cold storage suppresses. And finally, have an informed conversation with your eye care provider. Ask specifically, what is my macular pigment optical density and how does it compare to normal for my age? That single measurement tells you more about your AMD risk trajectory than a standard vision chart. You deserve a provider who treats you as a thinking adult who can act on that information. Drop a comment right now saying clear. If this gave you something real today, I want to see that word. It tells me you are ready to take your vision seriously. Think of one specific person you love, someone over 60 who wakes up with blurry vision and has been told it is just age. Send them this video right now, not later, right now. Subscribe to this channel. My mission is to give you evidence-informed health information that most people only encounter after something has already gone wrong. You deserve to know it before that happens. In my next video, I am covering the 6 seeds that support glutathione production in your eye's lens, the single most important antioxidant defense your lens has, and the one that declines most rapidly after 60. You will not want to miss it. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you're experiencing vision changes or concerns about your eye health, please see a licensed eye care professional before making changes to your diet, supplements, or lifestyle.